Hey, are you my lawyer?
I'm here to oversee.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, if you don't mind, I just have to give you a quick pat to make sure you don't have any weapons on you.
Oh, I do have weapons on me. You want me to put them behind the counter?
Let's go and put
Probably
them,
has cocaine up his ass too. You might need to.
Can
give
you
him
stop
a
accusing my
search.
lawyers of having fucking cocaine and shit up
First
their
off,
butts?
you make that sound like I've done that
I mean,
before.
you can't say
Just
or you
do
can't
it.
prove
Oh
he
my
does
God,
it.
More than welcome
Nintendo.
to check.
Why?
All right, now just go ahead and put
Okay,
the
never
weapons
mind.
in your
You can
vehicle,
accuse me
please.
of
All
that
right.
as much as you want.
I was
I'd
gonna
rather
do
if
it
I...
anyways.
Hey, Gamble. Are we able to put our weapons somehow, like, behind the counter? Because vehicles get stolen out of this place.
Yeah, so normally I walk up to the counter like this.
38 Southeast Bullet.
Okay,
Sorry
that's
about
what
that.
we can do that, sure.
I'll spell it correctly, though. There you go.
Black and colored sports bike. One time.
Nintendo, I'm going to come
License
down
plate
with you, but I
coming
won't
back.
obviously be in the interrogation or anything. I just wanna
89.
be close.
Oh, yeah, Gamble. I almost fucking shot Dante down dead.
It's always fun.
Nah, dude, I felt horrible. All right, let's go. So while we're walking, I'll go and read you off his charges and give you a brief explanation of what happened. He is being charged with resisting arrest, reckless evading, robbery second degree, and kidnapping.
Okay,
He
cool.
did.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay, I guess I'll go. He did rob Evangelicos, ran from us, switched multiple vehicles, led us on a boat pursuit through the Alamo Sea, ended up flipping a vehicle and attempted to steal a officer's vehicle, so we did have to use lethal force there.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and send me an email with the report and the evidence of the charges?
Okay, yeah. That's so much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and unfortunately, the evidence has to be done one by one because, you know, you got to blow it up and stuff.
What is your
You need-
email? Just say something in lawyer request, please.
There you go.
Alright, I'll be back in 1 second.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock, can I come in?
Yep, you can come in.
Alright.
Hey, Rogue. Can you come in too?
Sure.
I just want you to. I just want you to hear some of the information. Can you
Yeah.
let her in?
Yeah, I locked it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Alright, it's locked. And Mr. Dante, before we proceed, I will just have to say, due to the violent nature of the crime that was committed, your weapons license has been revoked.
10-4.
Alright, good to go. Continue.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I have a couple questions about the report. First of all, it says in the report that one of the demands was for free passage and no Air 1, and you guys still took out Air 1 to pursue the suspect.
I know. I'm just a senior officer, just the arresting officer. I was not the one who made that call. I'm not part of the chain of command that made that call. I am not 100% positive on why Air 1 was involved. I believe it was after they ramped their vehicle off into the Alamo Sea and proceeded on a getaway boat, or attempted to. That is when we called in Air 1 due to the lack of resources available and able to track said boat. I think that's the only reason that Air 1 was called, was because they did switch vehicles with newly added personnel.
Okay.
But that would have to be a question pointing towards my chain of command, unfortunately.
Okay, also. Now, I would think that you'd be wanting to stop someone, not literally try to murder them by putting 15 to 22 rounds into a suspect.
All right, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Per our SOP, it is stated as such: the second a suspect you are chasing, attempting to arrest, enters a vehicle, or any person enters your vehicle, we have full ability and are encouraged to open fire and neutralize the individual in our vehicle, because we keep evidence, extra weapons, class 2 weapons, and other police equipment that we cannot let fall into civilian hands.
Right.
If
I have no... no problem with you guys shooting, but 15 to 22 rounds, don't we think that's a little bit excessive?
Now, while I may be inclined to agree with you, there were 2 officers who were shooting at the same time, and both officers were instructed over radio, open fire, open fire, open fire, and myself and Indigo, we both have a pretty fast trigger finger ourselves, so that is why so many shots were fired.
Okay, that's an awful lot of shots to try and stop someone from taking a vehicle. Like, I can understand maybe if he was shooting at officers, but the other thing I'm not seeing in here is, to my knowledge, from my understanding, when they got into a boat, they were shot at, and I'm still trying to figure out why they were shot, what they were running away, if they didn't have any weapons out, and they hadn't shot any guns.
I would also like to add this up. At the time where they had their taser drawn to me as I was entering the boat, they said, "Put your weapon away, or we will tase." So I did, in fact, put my gun in my pocket and then continued to run. I didn't even have a gun drawn.
Okay, so I can get some clarification from the officers that did open fire, and I will be sure to include that also in my report, as I am not sure if I do have that. I was not personally on scene while they opened fire, so with it being such a large situation,
it was another officer and whoever was on Moto 1 during that chase were the ones who shot at me.
All right, well, can you give me 1 second? I'm going to go ask around to see if they are still on duty, as it has been a large amount of time since then.
All right. Yeah,
just see if we can clarify why, okay?
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, be right back. Primrose, you want to stay in here or let out?
I would like to hear this, actually, so I'm calling you.
All right. All right, so the officers who opened fire are no longer on duty, and I'm not sure off the top of my head who exactly they were. I do have a higher ranking officer coming down, and we're going to figure out exactly what's going on, okay?
I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Please tell me it's not Gamble. He hates me.
Anyone need any food or water in here?
I could use a drink, actually.
I don't seem to have any on me. Let me go get you a couple Cokes. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Or do you want water instead?
Cokes are fine.
Okay. Thank God.
MRPD.
Alright, Gamble's coming down.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me. I can fucking hear him.
Yeah, you know who that is.
Holy crap, yep.
1042.
I'm burping loud.
Alright, Gamble, I just gotta deliver them some drinks, and then I'll be able to explain what's going on. 1 second.
Right.
201's gonna be 10-10 for 2 mics at MRPD.
Alright, got you some drinks.
Oh god, I just noticed I still have fucking blood in my hair. Gross.
Oof.
I'll wash those off at the prison.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Thank you.
Alright, so we are currently arresting Dante Redgrave. He was an Evangelicos that turned into a officer-involved shooting because he entered a patrol vehicle. During some of the chase, they ended up jumping their car into the Alamo Sea up at Sandy and proceeding on a boat. They proceeded on a boat. We lost visual for a time, so we called in Air 1 when one of their demands was no Air 1. Air 1 was deployed, and at which time we identified the boat again, gave chase to it again, and then it reached the east side of the Alamo Sea. When it hit the east side of the Alamo Sea, Moto 1 and another BCSO deputy, I'm not sure who, they're no longer on duty, and it's an hour and a half past the scene, so I'm not quite sure who. They opened fire attempting to shoot the boat and disable its engine, during which time they did strike Dante and the driver of the boat multiple times. The lawyer in there is trying to argue why did we open fire on him, and I want your opinion, well, my higher rankings opinion, you're just the only one on duty, how I should approach this with the lawyer next.
Hey, so the lawyer wants to know why we decided to open fire.
Yes.
And any shots been fired before? Any officer lives at danger? Any public lives at danger?
No
Have
officer
they
lives
gone
were in
for it?
danger. It was reckless evading, but no extreme loss of life was at risk. They were on a boat attempting to evade officers after the suspect they were chasing on foot got into the boat.
His weapon was also away. It
Weapon was
holstered.
put away, as was instructed by officers to do so. Dante's weapon was away when he got in the boat, and the two BCSO deputies, one in the Moto 1, did open fire attempting to disable the boat's engine.
And did anyone give him authorization to do so?
I am not sure. I was on the other side of the sea when this happened.
There was no comms about it or anything like that? Anything that popped up?
It was an hour and a half ago. I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure if...
Who's a lawyer?
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Oh, Mr. Xbox, okay.
Yeah. So, I understand it is legally shaky of us shooting at the boat's engine. I would compare it to disabling a tire on a car, but Primrose also threw up the argument that that's a lot more metal, a lot more risk, a lot closer to the individuals.
I mean, it's not really metal. Those boats are pretty much made of...
well, the engine itself.
Yeah. It's just that boat. Those boats are just fiberglass, essentially.
Yeah, so... I'm not quite sure how
if
to...
anything, you got a better chance of taking a boat's motor out than you do a car because of the metal factor.
Okay. And they're also
I mean,
arguing
I don't know
against
who
using
made
Air
the
One.
call to let them do that, made that choice, so...
They also authorized Air 1 when it was one of their demands not to have Air 1.
I mean, just because we agree on something doesn't mean we have to abide by it.
Okay.
That's not a law. There's nothing against that. We can lie to people all we want when it comes to that.
Okay.
It's a courtesy at most. One that they should feel lucky that we even remotely consider.
I mean, to be fair, once we have hostages in our hands, we owe them nothing, so...
Essentially, exactly.
Okay, I can go make those two arguments. They're not happy about the situation of us shooting at the boat's engine, though. Alright, I'll go try it.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, at the end of the day, it's already happened, you know?
Yeah. Alright, I'll go see...
It was a tactical call in order to disable said vehicle. Do I necessarily agree with it? I don't not agree with it. I mean, I also wasn't a part of it to really just gauge the situation. But yeah, do that. No, don't do that, you know?
Yeah. I understand. I wish I had my body cam going at the time, but it fucking corrupted, so... Alright, I'm gonna go talk to them, see what's going on.
Alright, I'll listen in.
Alright.
What's up?
So, your two primary arguments right now are the Air One situation and us firing at the boat's engine, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's start with the easy one first. Air One. One of the demands was no Air One, correct?
Yeah.
No Air 1. Hold on, Dante. No Air 1 and free passage.
No Air One and free passage. We did grant them free passage to the vehicle, and off the bat, no Air One. Now, we did deploy Air One after the fact per command on duty at the time's instructions.
Was command aware that the no
Yes.
Air 1 was one of the demands?
Now, I would like to take a rebuttal against you, saying those demands that they make, we only meet them as a courtesy. We are under no legal obligation to follow said demands. We only follow them as a courtesy.
You're absolutely right, but I still think there's a lot to say for officers being honest.
Well, I understand your analogy there. At the same time, these individuals had ramped a car into an ocean, gotten on boats to attempt to evade officers, lost officers' visual for a minute. Because they were in a boat which none of us had access to, we were unable to keep up because they were in the ocean, at which point we deployed the best tactical tool available to us, which was Air One.
Okay, and then you guys, from what my clients tell me, you guys stole a boat in order to try and keep up with them.
I am not aware of any officers on scene attempting to steal a boat. If that were to take place, though, we would do it in a legal manner, asking the owner of the boat that's driving if we have permission to use the boat, as it is a police emergency.
It is within our SOPs that we can commandeer a vehicle in situations that are emergencies.
Okay.
And
All right.
and while in the middle of pursuit, we can commandeer a vehicle. Not necessarily when it comes to a vehicle, I can't go grab a local car and continue to chase you, but we're also talking about something that is outside of the city in the water. So that is a very different situation. So when it comes to a boat, that's going to be different.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And what about the? I guess the best way to explain it would be the non-existent tires on the boat when they got shot at when they switched to another vehicle.
I like that you bring up that analogy. During most other situations, we are dealing with a car versus car versus bike, something on wheels, correct? Per our standard operating procedure, we are able to shoot for tires to disable a vehicle so it can no longer evade and cause any harm to the public, correct?
Correct.
I would actually argue that the boat is better to shoot at the engine for than a car's tires. The boat is made of fiberglass, and the bullet will go straight through fiberglass into water and just dissolve down to 1 mile an hour and just float.
Right, and you realize gasoline is flowing through the engine, right?
And you understand that shooting a tire on a vehicle can easily bounce off, hit the gas tank, and explode it as well.
Yeah, it definitely could. In you know, a really weird atmosphere, yes, it could bounce off a tire. I mean, listen, we're not arguing the fact of, you know, guilty, innocence. You know, I just want fairness for my client. And
while I understand that, your client, let me remind you, robbed a store with 3 hostages at gunpoint after taking them out of their daily lives, recklessly evaded, striking multiple vehicles and officers, ramped a vehicle into an ocean, now causing a, what's the word I'm looking for? Ecological crisis, because there's now a vehicle leaking fluids at the bottom of the sea there. Continue to evade.
The vehicle wouldn't have been leaking fluids if you guys didn't shoot at it.
We did not shoot at the vehicle, but
the
vehicle in water.
Leaking any fluids into the water if it wasn't ramped into the water.
Yes, sir. So continuing, they then evaded, disobeying police orders, continued to run after police caught back up to them. This individual here, nothing against him, but while he was on foot, was demanded by multiple officers at gunpoint and taser point to stop running and give himself up, at which point he did not listen. Entered another boat and attempted to flee, at which point we did fire at the engine to attempt to disable the boat. And let me remind you what happened after the fact. They went down the river, beached the boat, abandoning it, stole a local vehicle, ripping the local out their vehicle, abandoning them in the middle of the wilderness with a shit ton of mountain lions up there, flipped the vehicle, ran from officers, even more, disobeying officers' orders, and then attempted to steal a police vehicle with a ride-along inside of it, putting his life at risk. All that being said, I think it is fair that we are not pressing him with any other charges right now.
Okay. Do you think it's fair that we're not going against the PD for attempted manslaughter for shooting a gasoline-filled engine? And do you also think it's fair that half the stuff that you're telling me right now is not the report that you provided me, including you guys shooting at the boat that the suspect was in?
I was made aware of officers firing at the boat about the same time you were. It has not been put into the report just yet. It will be.
And the 15 to 22 rounds that was put into the suspect to get them out of a police car, that's a little excessive.
Oh, that's not going to be negotiable. You step into a police vehicle, I don't care if it takes 1 or if it takes 50, you're going to get shot.
Gamble, 15 to 22 rounds?
Yes, sir. Between myself and Indigo both firing into the vehicle to eliminate the threat, how do I know that this individual is not going to grab the racked Mark II carbine, aim it at myself, and eliminate officers with a Class 2 weapon?
It is a well-known thing within our city that if you decide to get into a police car, you will be shot without hesitation.
And let me remind you, we fired that many rounds to make sure that the suspect is put down. There have been numerous occasions where a suspect has been shot over 50 times and is still able to reach for a weapon and fire at officers, causing death or injury. We fired that much to put him down and make sure he was down.
It seems a little bit excessive to me, 15 to 22 rounds.
Well, I'm glad that is your
Yeah.
opinion.
Right, that is my opinion. You're absolutely right.
Whatever it takes.
Hold on 1 second, Campbell. Wesson, I don't know why you're being such a douche right now. I'm trying to have the civil conversation with you about this report. I don't know what you're getting an attitude about.
No, there's no attitude here.
Oh, there is.
No, sir.
There
Hold on,
definitely is.
hold on. I'm gonna stop this conversation right now because I've been listening to everything. He's been nothing but polite. Why are you freaking out on him?
He's not being anything but polite.
I've known Wesson for an incredible amount of time. This is just Wesson. He is not acting out of character or anything. He's just talking to you. And then you're going to be unprofessional and call him a douche. You have one more outburst like that, I will walk you out of this precinct right now. Do I make myself clear?
Absolutely.
So, keep it cordial. This is just a conversation. Nobody needs to be getting heated right now. If we have difference of opinions, that is entirely okay, but it does not need to be hostile. I'm gonna go get the front desk because there's people buzzing it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So, Nintendo, as we were saying,
Yes.
you do not think it's fair that we opened fire at the boat or shot him that many times, correct?
And that you guys called out, that high command, not you, high command called out Air One, which I understand is a courtesy, but like I said, I think there's a lot to be said in this city for, officers being honest and true to their word.
While I agree with you, we have no legal obligation or duty to follow a criminal's word asking for a courtesy.
Okay. So
I would like to highlight that we did follow said courtesy up until the point they escalated the situation by ramping a vehicle into an ocean.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot going on here. If an officer was shooting at me in a boat, I'd probably run too, especially since I didn't shoot at them. So what I'd like to do, if we can come to an agreement, would be to drop the reckless evading, give credit, not drop the charge, but give credit for the resisting, and we'll take full responsibility for the kidnapping and the robbery in the second degree.
I think that is...
Hey, Paul, if I can say one thing.
She's whispering. Hold on. What?
Why are we dropping reckless evading?
Why? Because if the officers were shooting at me for no reason, I'd run too.
The reckless evading is not being applied because of the situation with the boat.
Right. That's fine.
Am I allowed to say one thing real quick? I do want to say we never ramped the vehicle. We did, and we parked it on the side of the beach and then got out and ran.
It did end up in the ocean.
Oh, oof. Well, I will say that wasn't me, so just throwing in my 2 cents.
With that being said, can I make a counter argument, Mr. Nintendo?
Absolutely.
How about we drop it from reckless evading down to regular evading, and then we can go on regularly with the regular percentage of dropping fines and times.
Okay. Would you also be willing to not drop the charge, but give credit for the resisting?
I think with the multiple incidences of this individual himself running and disobeying officers 2 to 3 times on foot, actively escaping officers, I do not want to drop resisting arrest.
No. I'm not. No. I'm not looking for you to drop the resisting arrest.
You want
I'm
to
just
take the
looking
time
for
and
you to
fine off for that.
Take the time and fine off for that. That's it. I have no problem with you leaving the charge on there.
I'll make a rebuttal.
And then he's gonna minimize time and maximize the fine.
And then I'll make a rebuttal to you about that.
Okay.
You can drop either the time or the fine on the resisting arrest.
Okay. Then we'll drop the time on the resisting arrest. We'll drop the reckless evading down to evading, and then we'll go 75% on the lowering on the time, and raising on the fine.
All right, give me a second. We're gonna do a little bit of
All right,
math
no
here
problem.
together.
Yeah, that's
and-
fine because my math sucks. So